how to cut the bad roots in your life. Obviously, the first step is for you to know what are these bad roots, what you are going through on the outside, on your daily lives, is just a reflection of deeper things. Well, Jesus said in his word, here was John the Baptist. And even now the axe is laid to the root of the trees. Therefore, every tree which does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So John the Baptist was saying that if you want to avoid bad fruits, if you want to avoid to lose this tree, you must cut it in the root. You need to get an axe and cut it. Jesus said in a different way, if your hand or foot causes you to sin, what should you do? Cut it off and cast it from you. It is better for you to enter into life lame or maimed rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into the everlasting fire. In a nutshell, putting all that we read in a nutshell, cut off what is leading you to hell. Cut it off with no mercy. Use the axe. Don't think like this, oh, but it would hurt, it would be hard. No, either you cut it off or it will lead you to hell. And hell starts here because the marriage that you have is a hell on earth. And it starts on earth, but it doesn't end here. It will go on through eternity to literally hell if you don't cut it off what is disturbing you.
Yes, I had to cut a lot of roots. And the first one was this wrong understanding that I had that I didn't have any value, that my value would come from Renato. If Renato wouldn't value me, I didn't have any value. So I had to cut this. I understood that I had value even if Renato wouldn't give me attention. Because when we change, we didn't change together. You do this and I do that. He knew what was necessary for him to do, and I had to work on the long list that he wrote about the things that I had to change. I did not see an immediate change in him. Because once you start working in yourself, it's not quick because there are roots that are very deep. So first, I had to understand, okay, I have value. My value does not rely on Renato, but in who I am, the price that God paid for me. Jesus died on the cross for me, so I am very valuable. And the second thing, that I had to stop going after Renato. Because I was used to be after my sister, always hiding myself because I couldn't see any potential in me. So the first root that I had to understand this, and I cut a thick root, a painful root that was to be bold, to come out of my comfort zone. I had to have courage to face. I was very shy. I would be very red to speak. If 2 people would look at me, I would be ashamed. I didn't know what to do. So I had to work on this with myself. I started to talk with people, even though I would become red, sweating, nervous, but I had to face this fear, this shyness. I had to cut this. I had to stop being this person that wouldn't know herself because I had potential, as you have. All of us, we have potential. So I had to cut this road. Was painful, was hard, was an effort, was not overnight. However, I overcame. It's not in me anymore. It doesn't exist, this root anymore inside of me. So everything has changed in our marriage because I was not in need of him giving me attention. I already had the attention. I could realize that I had value. And he changed. And when he noticed that I was not begging for his attention, please value me. When I stopped with this, he started to see that I was a very interesting person. Am I right, Renato? I started to call his attention finally.
It is because when the woman or the man goes after them at all times, why does the other need to do something? Here's a tip for you who are insecure, needy, always complaining that the other's not giving you attention enough, telling the other to call you. It's because you do this all the time. You call them 10 times per day. You demand, do you love me? And this and that. As Christiane used to be with me. So certainly, you are not giving time for the person to miss you. To miss you. There's no time. Before the person missing you, you are back there. So they don't miss you. They feel relief when you give them time. That's it. Oh, that's my way. So you would do the opposite of your way. My way was this one. Quiet. Here I speak, it's my job. So through my job, I developed the skill of speaking, but at home I was quiet, always in silence. Introvert. I don't like to speak a lot. Then, when I would arrive in the house, she would ask me, how was your day? And I would say, it was good. Right? She'll say, do you love me? Yes, I do. I told you yesterday already. Last week, I told you that I loved you. So I didn't see the need to change my way or to share, to speak. Because for the introverted person, who is some kind of antisocial, if that's how you want to call them, we don't see the need to keep talking. We like peace and quiet. I believe half of the church here understands what I'm saying. The other half doesn't understand. The extrovert don't understand me, but the introvert understand me. I'm that kind of person who you can cancel any appointment with me. Oh, it will not work. We were agreeing to meet each other, but it's not going to work. Thank God. It was not necessary. Thank God. So I don't have this need to be interacting. It's normal for the introvert, as the extrovert has the need to always keep speaking, as some people. And usually, the introvert marries the extrovert. Usually. And then, they keep clashing. So I had to overcome my way and learn to speak, learn to expose my thoughts, to learn to hear and say, is that right? Tell me more. And to truly be interested, I had to learn.
To share, you started to share things with me, making an effort at the beginning because when the person does not have this habit on sharing, he understood that was necessary for him to do this for us too, because your way is good to you, but to your wife or to your husband is not. And you live a life for two, not only for yourself. You live a life for you too. So you need to learn. Renato didn't become an extrovert person, and this was not something that I asked, because I got married with him because he was a serious man. I wanted to get married with a serious man, but I didn't know that I would suffer that much. However, you don't stop being who you are. You are just doing something for your husband or wife. And this is something that you can do. They are not asking much for you to share. To share. What is the problem to speak more about your day?
Yes, you have roots of addictions. You use your addictions as escape. You learned to escape from reality through cigarette, drinking, betting, games. Whatever the addiction is, it's just escape from reality. Reality is less interesting and the addiction is more interesting. So you run away from reality, especially when there are problems, and you dive headfirst into addictions. So you use addiction as a help not to deal with reality. So how will you cut the root of addictions? You have to develop self-control, because those who are addicted have no control of themselves. You are surrendering yourself 100% to the addiction. And who gives self-control? The Holy Spirit. You need to seek the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit gives you this self-control. Cut the root with what? It is fatal. Identify your roots, see what is fatal to your roots, and use the axe, dear friend. If you use the axe, this problem will never again come back to your life. If today's video helped you and you know someone that could benefit from it, share it with them, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you may do so now. See you later.